Hi, friends and family. I got my third chemo under my belt. So this past week I've had a slight reaction. Well, I've had it for the last 2 weeks of a low-grade fever, usually in the evening and morning, but Tylenol usually helps me with that, and I'm able to function and have a really good day. The weather's been absolutely gorgeous here, so if you got to be sick, Florida's the place to be sick. Anyway, this past weekend was my birthday, yay, and my daughter came in town and we celebrated. Every birthday is to be celebrated, no matter how old or young. It is a celebration. So onward and upward for another great year ahead of me. Today I had a doctor appointment before my chemo, and I got to see my oncologist, who I've not seen since right after my very first chemo treatment. He had not gone over my PET scan with me or my bone marrow biopsy, so we were able to accomplish that today. He told me my PET scan, even though I'm diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which about 70% of my cells in my bone marrow are bad. So that's why they're considering it multiple myeloma. And again, I mentioned earlier in my last video that my bones should be weakening and breaking even. But he said through the PET scan there shows no evidence of any damage in my bone. Thank you, God. And then my bone marrow biopsy, which showed the 70% bad cells. Again, although it's multiple myeloma, they are calling it AL amyloidosis because of the protein that's being released and my symptoms. So he is considering it like an overlapping of multiple myeloma and AL amyloidosis. So AL amyloidosis affects about 5 to 8 million people, 5 to 8 people in a million, where what I have is about 3 to 4 people in a million. So I'm rare. What else is new? He said that expect to be in treatment for about 1.5 years. Yeah, that's what I said. But I also said, well, I'm expecting a miracle. My girlfriend, Tara Lynn, said to be prepared to be amazed. And that's exactly what I'm going with. And this doctor is the same one when he sat down with me the first time. He said, God just uses me to heal people. And so I knew we were in the same wavelength. And I said, I'm believing in a miracle. And his nurse believes also. And so he said, we're going to keep checking your numbers. But if you are healed and it's a miracle, we're going to go with that. So he said that works. He goes, we've seen it happen. So I'm going to be one of those statistics. So that being said, we're watching my numbers, and today they did an immunoglobulin light chain level early on, and my number back then. So normal is between 0.57 and 2.63. And mine was 300. Yeah. So, but today they came back. It was 232. I know. I can't, I'm so excited. It's a 25% drop in 3 treatments. Thank you, God, that they caught this early. I mean, what a miracle that is in alone. That being said, everything's working. He has another protocol planned had that not been going down, and he was going to increase my chemo and give me a harsher treatment. But he said I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm going to write his secretary or his nurse tomorrow and get the ramifications of this and what it's going to mean going forward. So it's all good things, I know people were asking me about the chemo, so I get an hour IV of chemo in my arm, and then I get a syringe of chemo in my belly, between my skin and my muscle layer, and it burns. It's about a minute injection, and then that goes away. The sensation goes away. And then in my other side, I get a real big syringe of antibodies. And that goes again between my skin and my muscle. And I don't have a lot of fat there. It's supposed to be my fat layer. So it's really painful, and it takes them about 5 minutes to administer that. So it's really harsh and painful. But they give me a Benadryl, and it kind of eases the uncomfortableness. So it does help. And then the Benadryl completely knocks me out, and I sleep for the hour while I'm getting the IV. But they also give me a steroid that now it keeps me wired and awake. And the last week I did not sleep until 8 o'clock the next day. So I think tonight I'm going to try some melatonin because I can't stay awake for another 36 hours. All that being said, I can't thank you enough for all your prayers, your thoughts. I got so many texts this afternoon, this morning while I was in chemo. My chemo starts about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I was getting texts. I was getting funny texts. So please feel free. Just text me whatever is on your mind. If you want to make a joke or anything, or just a prayer, so it's beautiful thoughts. I really appreciate it. I got a questionnaire from my doctor before I met with him, like, have you been feeling depressed this week? I said, not at all. Have you been, feeling anxious? Not at all. Have you thought of suicide? Not at all. I'm thinking, maybe should I be? I have none of that. I am so optimistic and sure that this is going to be healed, and I will be walking stronger and freer of all this stuff behind me sooner than later. So again, thank you. I love you all, and I am so grateful that you are following me on this journey. And please share this if you feel it would help anybody. You can nobody can go to my YouTube and pull it up, my YouTube channel. It will only be shared if you share the link with them. So anyway, but I'm so grateful, and God bless you all. Mwah.